Hello guys and welcome back. So let's keep on going with our setup. So first of all, when we play the game, we're looking through the view of the snake head, which is basically where the snake head is or where the game start is, right? But what we really want to be viewing is a top-down view. Okay, there are many different ways to achieve this, and we think we can decouple our viewing angle from the snake head. So because the snake head is just moving out by itself, and the thing we're viewing is going to be through just a camera, right? That will be efficient. A more Unreal Engine based way will be you creating like a spectator pawn, but again, that's kind of like an overkill for this, right? We can either do what the structure of the Unreal Engine does, or we can do something differently. So let's do that. Let's do the camera setup. Okay. So that's going to be governed by our game mode, right? So I'm going to go to the game mode base, or CVP file, right? Oh, actually the game mode base. I need to create another function called void begin play, right? And then column there, semicolon there, right? Of course I need to override it. So I need to really be the begin play, right? We're overriding now a begin play underneath a game mode base. That's where our greedy snake game mode base is based on. So this function will then be called when the game starts, right? Let me right click and let's see. You can also put your cursor in there, right? Control period, and then create definition in the CVP file, right? This is when Visual Studio is really slow, right? If this is the first time you do that, it's gonna go through the process of finding the file and then create the things for you. Well, with Visual Assist, it's done in an instant. So I don't know why it's slow in Visual Studio setup, but it should be just 1 second it's done, right? I'm not sure why, but let me press Ctrl S to save it and then close that. This is the temporary preview of the actual file here. You can see now it's also added in here, right? So begin play, what do we do in the begin play? First of all, we need to call something called super begin play. Parentheses and that. So now we're telling the upper class, right? Do the begin play there, right? Because I'm overriding it. I want the super one to do its job first. If you go to the definition here, you can see the parent class A game mode base also have its begin play. Oh, it's transition to call start play. I probably need to override that because there's no begin play for this one. Sorry about that. Should be, yeah, for this it should be start play. Override, let me copy that and then go here. Paste that in here, paste that in here. Okay. Right, start play is different for game mode. Okay, this is when the game starts. I'm gonna create a in the start play, of course, I'm gonna create a camera and put it above the ground and make it look down, right? So I'm gonna say ue camera actor. It's a camera actor. I don't quite remember the name of that, so let's take a look. We can also do it in the viewport, actually. It's not a big deal, but camera actor. It's not you, it's a camera actor, right? It's of the type camera actor. So we'll just do that in the coding, basically. So a camera actor, right? Pointer, player view camera. Will be equals to get world spawn actor, and we're spawning a camera actor. We also have to specify the class here one more time for some reason. Not static mesh, static class, and then we need to define where do we want to spawn it. So spawn location and rotation. Okay, so let me define those things. F vector spawn location will be equals to just above the ground. Let's see how far do we go. I'm doing our encoding, but again, you can do it just here. I think it's like 2000 high will be fine on the z-axis. That will be enough for me. So this will be a f vector. I can just tap two parentheses and construct it right away here. So this is gonna be 0.0 for 0 for the x. Y is also 0 for the z, which is the height. This is gonna be 2000 unit. Okay. Now f vector. Oh, sorry. And for the rotation, it's gonna facing down, right? F rotator. Span rotation. That's gonna be, if you hit the comma button, you can see the arguments. You can see pitch, yaw, and roll, right? So let's see which one do we need to rotate down. So I'm gonna drag in the camera again to make it look down. We're gonna do that on the pitch, right? So pitch is gonna be the one we do. So back here we can say pitch is the first one, right? 90, and then the others will be 0, 0. That's comma in the middle, not dot, right? So that's the span location and rotation. I'm gonna type that in. Span location, span rotation. And then I also have to specify a span parameter. That can be a default one. So I'm gonna say f actor span parameters, and then just two parentheses. That's gonna construct a default one for me and pass that over. Okay. So it's also saying that it doesn't know what this is. That makes sense because no one knows what that is if we don't include some of the hash include camera actor header file. That should include it in the file. So that's going to give us a camera when we start playing the game. Now that's not going to make it also available for the player yet, right? So to make it work, you have to, for a camera here, to make it to be the viewing camera for the player, you can search for that. I think it's called somewhere here, auto active for player, right? So we need to specify that. So we can say player view camera. We can set owner to be get player controller. Okay, and then this, and then 0. It doesn't know what that is because we need to use another class, another thing. Include Kismet gameplay statics. Okay, and we can say gameplay statics column get player controller. I don't have to have the uppercase P. So this is gonna give the player controller for me to set the owner of that. That way there's an ownership. I think it's just safer, right? We can get access to it later on because we're creating it on site, right? Okay, we can then say player view camera dot auto active set auto active. Set auto active. You know what? We don't have to do it. We can just do it this way. We can say gameplay play, because we have the controller already. We can say gameplay statics get player controller. This 0. This means this world, right? This actually means the object itself, but it's gonna going back and search for where this thing is in. It's gonna be able to find the world. So you can also say get world. That's gonna do the same thing for you, right? And then 0 means the first player, right? So this is gonna be giving us the player controller. Now, just to have common courtesy, we can also say if we can create that first, So a player controller pointer PC will be equals to this thing, right? We can then do if PC, then we do the same thing inside. We're gonna pass in PC in here. Right? And then we can also just say PC set view target, and the view target will be our player view camera. And that will just make it work, right? So long story short, we're creating a camera, position it 2000 units above, make it 90 degree looking down, right? We check if we can get the player controller. If we do, we set the player controller to be the owner of the player view camera. The owner basically is something that it remembers where the owner is, right? Who is the owner, as that should be our player controller. And then with player controller, we'll also set the camera as our the viewing target. Okay, save this and go ahead and compile this. Okay, and then play this. You can see now we're looking up, isn't it? F8 and go out, and let's see one of the camera actor. Yeah, this is the one we set up. You can see it's looking up instead of down. Okay, this means this is working. All we have to do here is back here to our code and change that to -90 instead of 90. That will make it work. Okay, so all those things, if you don't want to do it in the coding, you can. It's not mandatory, but again, if you create a new map, then it's not going to be able to do that for you automatically. If we do this in the game mode, then anytime when we have like a new map, a bigger map or something, the game mode is already taking care of that. It's going to create the camera for us. I don't need that camera actor. So it's going to create that camera actor for us and put it just 2000 units above in the sky. So now if I play this, you can see now we're facing down, looking through that camera. All right, cool. That's it for this video, right? Just the camera setup for our game. Moving on to the next, we're going to really set up the inputs. Okay, see you next time.